Welcome back to the Wayfarer podcast, season 2, episode 8. You got Jared,
Jonathan,
Katya,
Zach,
Riley.
You know, we missed introductions last episode.
We did.
We didn't do episodes. Y'all didn't acknowledge I wasn't here. It
Yeah, we
really hurt
did.
my feelings.
Yeah,
Jonathan
we,
did
we
a
mentioned
great
it
job
like,
doing
at
that.
some
Not at the
point.
beginning.
Yeah.
Why are you
Not
throwing
at the
Jonathan
beginning.
under the bus right now?
I gave you a shout out twice.
I think he feels threatened by his job.
It was a really good
It's okay.
episode. I'm going to be honest.
We're
It
glad
made
to
me-
have
Kind
you
of
back.
was. I didn't know if it was gonna be really good or really bad without you, and it
went
was
really
really
well.
good. So I think you.
Honestly, I might need to take a step back.
You're aging out here. In a minute.
Oh, man.
half
I got
birthday coming up.
I know, a couple months until I'm cooked. Getting completely kicked out. Are y'all going to kick me out when I'm 30?
You just go into management.
I think 18
Well,
to
it's
30
18 to 30.
includes
So
30.
you have
I feel
30 still. to
Yeah.
change. That's kind of like the off ramp year. You know, you slow exit.
Off ramp to what?
Yeah.
It's like a hospice.
Awesome.
I got 18 months before they kill me. Take me behind the shed.
Oh.
Oh,
Anyway,
So it's so good to be back. I'm excited for the time I have left with you guys.
it's gonna be great.
Season 2, we've had a lot of fun conversations, especially you guys killed Malays the last episode. I think that was a really good conversation. Excited tonight to talk about excess.
oh yeah.
Very interesting topic to get into. What is y'all's favorite funny thing that you like to do excessively? Like what's like I think people talk about having the hyperfixation. That's a TikTok thing right now, right? Like what's your
hyperfixation?
hyperfixation? I'll share mine.
Why don't you do that?
It was just so.
You can tell we don't prep these
Yeah.
questions. It's that's the best part. I right now am obsessed with vitamins. I'm like I don't know why, but I have a drawer full of vitamins. Half of them I don't take actively, but I just like vitamins. I don't know, something about
What's the top trending vitamin?
creatine. Love some creatine.
Yeah. Okay. Is that
cre-
a vitamin or a supplement?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that counts.
I don't know.
I might not know the difference between a vitamin and a supplement, to be honest with you.
If you don't, I have
like
a couple
I'm on
things I want to sell
steroids.
you.
I probably could use a lesson on the difference between those two. So I'm hyperfixated. Let's start.
Are you like doing
Rewind.
protein powder? Is that like your vitamins?
No, I wouldn't.
Do you know the difference between protein powder and vitamins?
And
I
he's
would
talking
say I
about
know the
creatine.
I would say I would know that protein powder is not a vitamin.
That
Yeah.
is.
I think it has vitamins in it.
Probably.
I
Some of
can
them.
see the supplement thing or the vitamin thing being excessive.
This
It
is
is.
super embarrassing.
It
right
is easy. No, it's
helping you're
easy
aging
to be
out.
like that.
now. Yeah, I don't know the
Just
difference.
wait till you get to your 30s. There's more vitamins.
That's what I'm
Never
trying to
stops.
avoid.
Oh
A lot of things to supplement. So
Yeah.
yeah, creatine and Alpha Brain
Okay.
help me focus.
Does it
Right,
work?
Joe Rogan.
Shout out Joe Rogan.
Does it do
Have us
anything?
on.
I'm on it right now, so I'm not doing good.
Yeah, okay.
The difference between vitamins and
Their
supplements.
stock's just like
Yeah.
tanked.
So, sorry on it. So that's mine.
That's great, Jared. I like that.
You got.
one.
You guys should share yours. It's not embarrassing. I swear.
Almond flour cookies.
Oh, your daughters make some fire
So good.
ones.
Yeah, it's impossible for me to not eat. Yeah, you can order some almond
Order.
flour cookies if
Check
you
the
want.
link.
That's it. I love them. I love
Mm.
cookies.
They're
So
great.
good.
Jonathan had 3 before we started this.
Yes, I
did.
They're
Two.
good.
Mine is
Wow.
sleep.
I will have one after
Ooh.
this.
It's because they are
Craving it now.
healthy, right? So it's
Healthy.
easy to eat them.
Everybody skipped over Jonathan's excess.
What did he say?
He said sleep, and then you guys kept having a
you
conversation
didn't even
about
like
carbs.
warn us.
Excessive
guys.
sleep.
Hey, Jonathan,
Sleep.
what's your sleep?
You're
Sleep, yeah.
excessively sleeping.
What's
no, but like
excessive?
so, anything over 8 hours, I feel like is excessive, and like
Just
I could just like keep sleeping all morning.
I feel like 9's the like. If I'm over 9, I'm like, oh, I
What's
must
a
have been exhausted.
What's a typical sleep for you?
Usually it's like 8 hours, but then like a weekend might extend it a little more.
Mm.
And it's like it's not really like that I have extra sleep. It's in the morning when you don't want to get up and do push-ups, so you just kind of lay there for an extra half hour, and like try to get some sleep, but it doesn't do anything for you. It just makes you more tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting snooze on the
That's
alarm.
fair.
Yeah, and I don't have a job. I'm unemployed, so there's no time I
my
have to
gosh.
like get
Huge
up and
asterisk next
start.
to that.
So
Huge-
it's like
Not
living
so.
with my parents.
Huge asterisk next
Unemployed,
to
so I
that
just sleep in
unemployed.
every day. It's the dream.
Can you still sleep in?
Excessively sleepy. I was going to say I haven't slept in for 20 years. So
Uh,
that's,
I feel like I
Yeah.
can't sleep in. I wake up.
yeah, no way. I mean, see, that's the thing.
Dang.
But now, if I were to sleep in till like 7 o'clock, it would,
A.M.
yeah,
That's-
7 a.m. It would feel like,
Sleeping
what
in.
is
See, I feel
happening?
like
That's me getting
I
up and at
can't
'em.
sleep in when I say I'm going to sleep in.
Mhm.
But then every day I wake up like on a normal weekday to get up and get ready for the day. And I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
could sleep for another 3 hours. And I just keep snoozing the alarm half the time.
Oh, that snooze
Yeah.
button.
It's awful.
It's awful.
Wow. I wish I had your problem.
what's your
I-
problem?
Oh, my problem. Well, I can't wake up early. Like, that's my problem. So I guess I kind of relate more with you. But I wish I could wake up early just on the fly. Definitely a night person. Anyway, my excess is I like have a hyperfixation right now with Korean skincare. And I know that sounds kind of funny, but
Did you
like
say Korean?
Korean.
Quran?
Korean?
The Quran?
Korean.
Oh.
What did you think I said?
North or
Korean?
south?
Korean. I don't know, but it's just Korean skincare.
North and South is a great question.
Just the Korean
I'm gonna
I'll answer
skincare.
it for you. It's south, I think. Just so you know.
Well,
you never know.
Let me explain it. I don't know which
Yeah.
region, but like it's very famous on TikTok right now because they like swear that your skin will be perfect. What's so funny to you?
It's definitely not North Korean.
It's definitely not. It's
Kim
sneaking over
Jong-un is
enemy
not.
lines to Arvin.
Okay.
Have you seen his skin?
They don't have.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Anyway,
They don't have TikTok.
They're
in
all
North
they're all
Korea.
skinny too. They
There's-
got secrets there.
There's
They
one
can
guy
be
that
selling
has perfect
stuff, I guess.
skin.
They're
Anyway,
skinny
we
'cause they're not
digress.
eating.
Left for sure.
Don't digress on my excess
Okay.
talk.
Whoa, bar. Don't digress on my excess. Ooh, is that a poem?
Just came up with it just now for this podcast. Yeah, no, I'm obsessed with it because it swears that you're gonna have like poreless, perfect skin. And so I'm on the hunt right now. So if you catch me just on my free time, I'm probably looking. For a
Alright.
second.
My mom's Quran, and she does the laser thing. She puts like the mask on that has the red lights. and it
Yes,
zaps your
I've
Yep.
heard that's amazing. Red light
Mhm.
therapy. I've
Yep,
heard that's amazing
that's-
for
that's
you.
it. I think it's a scam, but
You
go
do?
for it. Yeah.
I've had it done
All
on
the
my shoulder.
research says that it works.
It was so awkward.
Mine
Korean
done to your
research.
shoulder.
I dislocated my
Very
shoulder,
nice.
and this lady was like, "I can do red light therapy, and it helps." And
Vitamins, skincare,
Mm-hmm.
sleep, almond flour.
What's yours, Riley?
yapping.
Laughing. I just
Aw.
Wouldn't
laugh.
that be great?
That's
you
so
guys.
I would
sweet.
love that. If
Oh,
that was
Riley.
my,
What a
Uh,
sunshine to the podcast.
It's a good question. Excess.
Excessive
Oof.
laughter. That sounds like a Hallmark card.
I don't know what I have. Like what excess is for me. It's a good question. I think
Time.
the snooze button probably. Like I always want to hit the snooze button in the morning. Like if I have to wake up before 7 o'clock, I'm just like upset.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to.
I think that's part of why it's
Wow.
a good conversation because it's hard to pin down. Like if we say gluttony or something, you like, oh, too much food or too much watching TV or something like that. But excess, it's like, what is that? And I think too much is in there, but also like too demanding. Like right now, I have to have it right now. And you were talking about shopping, that it's
Mhm.
become, it's insidious like malaise, right? And I think that's what's slippery about it is we can say, I don't live a life of excess. You wouldn't look at my life and go, oh yeah, that's somebody living a life of excess. But when we start to think about it, we go, oh, well, sleeping, vitamins on cue, spending, right? Like how many Amazon packages show up a day?
A lot here, I'll tell you.
It's, right. It's excessive.
Vitamins keep coming.
That's right.
Yeah, I
Too
think
many.
I think that's one of the interesting things is that when we first started thinking about like gluttony and like moderation, like I immediately go to food and my Five Guys,
Cool.
which is a recurring joke here.
Shout out.
but like it plays into so many, when I think about other areas, especially, I mean, the joke about supplements and vitamins, but like self-improvement and like how like the balance of just trying to subtly self-improve versus like making it like this giant, I have to like do everything, like cut off, start eating 1,000 calories a day, which is wildly unhealthy, and like working out the maximum amount, like doing all that not in moderation, but like as almost like an idol. It's like funny how different things like that seem like relatively harmless, like getting better is not a bad thing, but that to the extreme becomes bad. And so like it's a very different way to view like moderation and excess.
Do you feel like that to the extreme is as pervasive as we're saying it is? Like, is that, because I think yes, that there's anything we do, exercise, reading, cold plunges, whatever it is, it doesn't seem like we do it in moderation. It seems like everything goes to excess, but maybe it just feels that way because of the algorithm showing us the same thing over and over and over again.
I think people definitely try to sell it as like this path to contentment, like mastering yourself. Like I think that path of, reading a ton of books, like working out, like having a great body, like all those things to the max. They're like, this is how you be content. This is how I found peace, like, and all these different things. And, I think there's truth that, like, I think improving and taking care of yourself is like helps like you mentally, but like the dream that gets sold of it solving all your problems, I think is faulty.
Yeah, you get a taste of it working, and then you have a day where you feel at peace because you did all the things, and you're like, well, this must be it. Let me dedicate everything to this thing, but it runs out.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's mainly in the sense of like comparison. Like I remember when I was in college, when I was like really diving into like working out every morning and going to a club every night, like a different, like not like a club, not like that. like a academic club or whatever, and like going to meet people or like getting onto this like very aggressive routine. And in my head I'm like, if I make this a habit, it won't feel so aggressive anymore. Like, because there are people who do wake up at 5 a.m. and work out and then go do their full work day and then read a book, and that sounds ideally that sounds like a great routine. But it's like when you're trying to rip yourself away and like throw yourself into this aggressive, like, I need to be the ideal human being because I'm comparing myself to all these routines on Instagram, or I'm comparing myself to my coworkers or just to things in general, like, and you're not just looking at you and what's been tugging at your own heart. I remember I was miserable so often because I'm like, I just feel overwhelmed, and then in turn I'd burn out, and it just never worked. And so for me, when we're talking about excess, like comparison comes to mind, and in turn my like control in that. Like I wanted so badly to be this human being, so I was like taking control of everything in my life in order to be that.
Yeah, that's it's interesting because when you talk about that and you talk about like working out, it's like I think of like if I'm like you start the new year off and you're like, oh, I'm gonna work out every day, I'm gonna lose all this weight, and you're just like instantly jumping right into it super fast because you want to take control and get like healthier, which isn't a bad thing. Like getting healthy is a great thing, but you want to do it so fast. You're like, how can I do this the quickest? Like that's what I think of. Like when someone's like, oh, I want to lose weight, it's like, I want to do it the quickest so I can get it over with. And so they take control. And that's where that like control that you were talking about, Katya, comes in. It's like you just want to take control and get it faster. The Amazon thing, you want to take control, get stuff faster. You just keep doing it to take control and get it quicker.
Yeah.
I think C.S. Lewis wrote about gluttony or excess in this way, touching on that was really interesting, is saying it's not just like I want it all or I want it right now, but he gives this illustration of somebody who is overly prescriptive with what they want. And so they have this idealized vision of exactly the way they want something to be, ordering at a restaurant, and that they're not happy unless it's that way. And again, we go like, oh, that would never be me. Until we think about it and we go, well, I mean, think about how we order coffee. Like the way that we have shifted as a culture to where our coffee, our lunch, our workout program, our supplements, everything is so highly curated and to this excessive preference and outcome, right? Like I have to be in control of all those parts of it. I want it now, I want it all, and I want it my way. That's kind of the hallmark of a life of excess. You go, oh, what's wrong with that? I mean, what's the downside of that? Because you go, well, we're privileged to get to live in a culture where excess is a normative state. What's the shadow side of it? What are some of the not so healthy implications of it spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, physically?
Oh, sorry.
I think like think of one of the examples like the Amazon thing. Like it can turn into a bad thing because like you keep like I do this all the time. I'll like need something, so I go on Amazon and I go to order it, and it's like, oh, spend $25 and you can get it here today, and it's like, all right, what else can I get? You know, it's like sometimes you may need something else, but most of the time I'm just like looking just so I can get that other item faster for some reason. And that becomes a bad thing because now I'm spending extra money that I don't need to spend just so I can get something faster. And, you know, sometimes that may be a need, like, oh, I need that for tomorrow. But it's like, if you make that a habit repeatedly, I've made it a habit and I spend extra money that I don't need to spend on something. Like I'll end up buying a candle when I don't need one, you know, and I just keep doing that. It becomes bad. Or like even like weight loss too. Like if you lose too much weight too fast, that can be unhealthy and bad because there's like extra skin that stays, you know, like I think there's bad things that can come from doing things too fast. I feel like that's kind of where I'm going with that.
I was going to say, no, I completely agree. Like, and then it can, like was just saying, like it can become overwhelming and then discomfort in your own like body and your own space happens, and completely feel that. I was kind of, to go off of that too, I was going to say expectation is always a killer of joy in my own life. So it's like when I expect that my package is going to come in a day and it doesn't, I'm like, well, shoot, that just ruined my whole plan to use this thing. Or if I expect that I'm going to lose like 20 pounds in the next however months, and I don't do it, then all of a sudden my own like image and identity is crumbled to some certain extent because I haven't met that place. And so it's like, if I am excessively dependent on my material surroundings and not on my own identity in Christ, I feel like my entire world is thrown off. And it's like, as long as I remember, like my only expectation is that like whatever God wills me to do is going to happen. Like that's the only expectation. I always have to remind myself that, especially with like just like things are unpredictable in general. Like, and that's just how life goes. And as long as I remember personally that things are when they're in the right order and God's always in the foundation of that, then I mean, that's how I feel about it when it comes to like thinking about when excess can be a bad thing.
Think about like Jesus teaching his disciples to pray, like, give us this day our daily bread. Full stop. Like if you just realize how far we've come, if you imagine Jesus sitting here going, when you pray like this. Just pray, not that all the kids' colleges would be paid for, and that you would have an answer for all of the needs that you are thinking about in your head. Just pray, give us this day our daily bread.
And think about how many times we've all probably heard that and never really like thought of it or applied it to like our daily lives. Like I heard that a billion times, yet never really thought daily bread, like, all right, take what I have every day and be joyful with it, be content with it all.
Yeah, to live a life of peace versus that my expectation is never met. My expectations are never filled. It's never fast enough, never like I wanted it. Like that's just a horribly, horribly inwardly turned way to be versus give me this day my daily bread.
Yeah. And I feel like for me, so much of excess comes in like trying to fill like a hole that I have in me, like trying to self improve or trying to read more books or trying to eat more food to feel comfortable. It's like all these things that I'm thinking will make me feel more whole or more content. And that if only I had that, if only I was getting booked at this comedy club, if only I looked like this, or if I had that girl, whatever it is, it's like I view those things as, man, if I had that, then I'd feel content, then I'd feel like happy. And in that chase, in that like desire, it's like a lot of those things are not bad. None of those things are inherently bad things, but like when they're wrongly ordered, I think that's where it's like it makes it unenjoyable to even like go after those things because you want those things to be everything. And then you get something and it's just like salt water. You just need more, you know, it's not enough.
Yeah.
And I think like that's what oftentimes where I see like the downside of excess is it's never excess in the right things.
Yeah.
And we're robbed of the enjoyment of our hard work. Ecclesiastes, it says it's better if there's a God will sometimes give people a lot of riches or whatever it is, but they might not know how to enjoy it. And it's better for him to be stillborn than to live a life where you have a lot but don't know how to enjoy it. And we miss out on so much of the things that we did toil and work for because we're always looking to what's next. And that's what I think that's the solve, right? Is understanding that it's in perspective and it's not what's going to give you your fulfillment at the end of the day. Your like enjoy what you have your daily bread.
Wouldn't it be cool if out of even just this conversation we started out saying, is it even worth having conversations like this? Because sometimes we're like, well, I've heard it all before. I know that part. But the lived experience of being robbed of the ability to enjoy what you do have, what God has given you, that if we could eradicate that, that would be, I just like, can you imagine what it would feel like to experience a day where you were just totally content?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Totally content and totally grateful. Not trying to be or thinking like, oh yes, I should virtuously be grateful and content, but like you felt it in your bones. Just like gratitude and contentment. That'd be incredible. I think that's what makes me want to go. I don't want to live a life of excess. I want to reject that. And I want to call it out and say that we are swimming in it, right? We're swimming in a world that says more, faster, exactly like you want it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the, like, I guess a question of that is like the journey of getting to like daily bread from where you might be of like wanting whole excess. Because I can think of like today I feel closer to that where I'm like feel like in the last couple weeks, not like years, I've started like appreciating the day to day a little bit more and the journey of it, which has been like really cool to see. But I can think very not long ago this is very funny. I think I've shared this before, but I was in Croatia floating in the Adriatic Sea on vacation and being like, this should be everything. And it feels like nothing. And just of like, why isn't this filling me? Why don't I feel full? Even though like most people would be like, that'd be like a dream vacation to like be in that kind of moment. And it's like, I try to think of like the last, I think it's been like 2 years since that, of like the journey of like trying to like work through that. And like, how do you do that? And kind of like the day to day, because it can feel so challenging of like such a perspective shift to try to like get contentment. Part of me is like, I don't know if it just happens with more information, just hearing, you know, like we've heard daily bread before. Like I've heard that for years. I grew up a Christian, so almost 30, 6 months away of hearing that. But like, how do you really let it like rest in your heart and like grow in that? Like, I think that's like challenging to like actually be changed in that perspective of it.
I think there's this idea of desire. Like, what do we want? What do I love? What do I want? And to be free of something, to be delivered from something, like deliver me from excess and a desire for more, faster, and my way. Like, think if we really prayed that and said, deliver me from that, because I don't want it to be stolen anymore. I don't want my moments to be stolen. I don't want the joy to be robbed from me. And, this idea that there is an enemy, a satanic, a demonic presence that says, look over here and look for more, look for faster, look for exactly like you want it. And the minute we're wooed into that, something's stolen from us. The joy that was given to us is gone. And so I think a little bit of that fight coming up in us to say, like, I don't want to give up any more moments. I don't want any more of my life robbed of the joy that God has given me. I don't want that anymore, because I certainly know what that's like. I know what it's like to lay in my bed at night, not enjoying my bed because I'm thinking about or trying to plan or take control of something to get more, to be more secure. And you go, I don't want that anymore. So I think one is just recognizing, like, draw a line in the sand and don't desire the absence of that, but the presence of joy, the presence of peace, the presence of contentment and gratitude. Like, I want that. Yeah. And part of that is going to be then saying, deliver me from that temptation toward excess. Part of it, I think, just calling it out, right? That's why conversations like this, they're really good, because again, it can be easy to be like, well, I don't live a life of excess. I don't have like a yacht and 17 different helicopters and 300 vacations. Like, that's not my life. But I'm swimming in excess. I'm neck deep in it. So I think part of it, call it out, like, desire more.
Do you think excess could also include like allowing like outside forces, such as like if you're in a friend group and everyone's talking about a certain thing and those voices get into your head? Do you think like allowing an excess of voices into your like system, do you think that could also be a bad thing? Like if you're hearing everyone talk about the same thing, all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, maybe I should be doing that too. Does that make, like, I guess that leans into temptation a little bit.
Well, I think there's the mimetic desire that's very real, that like, if you have something, I want that. In 2 minutes ago, not knowing you didn't have it, I didn't want it. But as soon as you have it, I want it, right? And so I think that is just a reality that we have to know, that that's part of what's going on. If somebody has something, there's something in us that wants that because they have it. So we have to pay attention to that and just be mindful that that's real, right? If everybody here has a boat,
all of a sudden I want a boat.
Right? It's very hard to be friends with 4 people that have boats and not start to want a boat. Does that mean you have to have lots of friends that have less than you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the answer.
Lower your expectations.
Lower your expectations. No, but I think it is important to be mindful that that's a thing. And to your point on advisors or voices, like who's in your head, I think it's important to pay attention to that, because Jesus said, pray like this. Pray that you would be given your daily bread. And I even have voices in my head that are really wise and prudent friends who are saying, hey, you're getting to the age that you probably should build at least another barn. That's the prudent thing to do. Well, yeah, conventional wisdom does say a bunch of things. And the conventional wisdom in an excessive culture in America, there's probably a lot of competing opinions that are not necessarily going to lead to that place of contentment and simplicity and generosity. And so I think being mindful that not every voice that's speaking into our life necessarily is going to be leading you in the healthiest way. Yeah. And so pay attention to it, right? Yeah. And which voices allow that? Who do we give that kind of access to?
Right. Being aware of our space. It's true.
Yeah. How do you cultivate, like I just rattled those off, but like a life of simplicity, a life of contentment, a life of gratitude, a life of generosity? How do you cultivate contentment? Just for you all, like how do you day to day battle that struggle to live content with what you've been given? What are some of the ways that you've found helpful to try to cultivate contentment?
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the best way to battle. I mean, I was just talking to you guys about my day, and it's like I was listening off like all the things that happened, and they weren't necessarily great, but the gratitude in it is the lesson that I got from it. So it's like even in a low moment, there's something to be grateful for, because God's always trying to teach us something. So definitely gratitude is a great way to battle that, or to, get contentment.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I feel like, and this has been something I've talked about, of like going through hard seasons and like seeing good that comes from them. I think one of the books I've been reading called Living Life Backwards, which I highly recommend. It like talks so much about like the things that we think will bring us contentment that we like run after, and how they won't do that, and how, what God gives us in like the day to day is what he gives us, and he gives us good things. And so whatever we're being given today is a good thing from God.
Mm-hmm.
And like to truly believe that has been something that I feel like I'm like trying to really wrap my head around. In the days where it's funny, I can wake up one day and feel completely discontent and frustrated and not knowing where life is going. And then like a week later, no circumstances are different. But like just really trying to lean in and believe that. Like I think I texted you, as like today just feels like honey. And like I don't know why, but it just feels sweet and good. And like I just am happy about where life is at and like what is going on, even though nothing's categorically different about where I was at. And I think like really trying to lean into that of like, whatever God is giving me today is a good thing, even though like it might be confusing. It might not be exactly what I want. Like it might not, I don't have the Toyota 4Runner 2025 because that costs $50,000 and I do not have $50,000, and to like really try to believe like, all right, whatever he's giving me today is a good thing, even if it, whatever it leads to, it's like, it is good. Yeah. Like, I think that's like something I'm trying to believe.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think to tie into both of what you guys said, like joy has been on my mind a lot, because that's our word for like the V3 team that you gave us, Zach. And so I've like just been thinking through joy a lot, and just like trying to like wake up, even though I hit snooze twice in the morning, but like the moment I get up out of bed, it's like, all right, like today's good, like be joyful today. And I put like a giant sticky note with the word joy on my mirror that I look at every day before I walk out of my room. And so I'm just like every day just trying to like with that contentment, like be joyful in it. Like I feel like true contentment, like you should find joy somewhere in that. And there's going to be rough things along the road, but like hold on to those things that are joyful. Kind of, I feel like that's what you were getting at a lot there, Jared. Like being okay with that, like finding joy in that is a key, I think, to going through it.
And I think the hard lesson is like everything that we want to like get to like bring us contentment is not going to bring us contentment. And Rick Rubin has this, he had this quote video, I think you sent it to me, but he's talking about, he's a producer for music. He's worked with like pretty much any major artist you can think of. He's like worked with to some degree, and he helped produce like the Beastie Boys album in the 90s. And yeah, very big throw. He's an old guy. And he's like 48 or something. I'm just kidding.
Wow. He's like from space.
And so he helped produce this album, and it was a #1 album. And he was like, I wouldn't have remembered this, but a friend called me and asked him how he felt. And he's like, I've never been more unhappy. And it's just like insane. And he's like, talks about it. He goes, there's so many artists I speak to where they have this goal of like achieving and becoming the top artist, and like they make it there, and like they're unhappy and uncontent because they've pursued this thing that they thought would make them full. I mean, even AJ Brown, who just won the Philadelphia Eagles, they won the Super Bowl, and he just posted that he thought he would feel different, that he thought he'd feel full, but he was like, I think I liked the journey better. And he's like, I'm back to work, which is insane that you're like, I thought winning the Super Bowl would make me feel whole, and he doesn't feel whole, which is just like, we think these things will fill us, but they won't, and we don't believe it. We believe $1 million would make us feel more happy and more content,
and the journey part too. That's for him to like even think that. Like, I think I enjoy the journey more. Like, I feel more fulfilled from like going on the journey to get there, which is not easy. I'm sure. I mean, imagine trying to get to the Super Bowl physically, mentally too. Like, that's not an easy journey to go through.
It's insane. Comedians, Nate Bargatze, who sells out arenas and has multiple Netflix specials, he has said, I sometimes miss walking into a room where nobody knew who I was, and like being a comedian, I'd have to be funny, I'd have to win them over. Now any room he walks in, they know who he is, and like they're gonna
laugh.
He has like an edge because like they think he's funny already. And he's like, I kind of miss like having to walk in a room, which is insane because I would always be like, I'd rather have Netflix specials now than not. Like, and I can believe that once I have Netflix specials, I'll be more happy. But it's like, that is not true. And to like say that to myself is so key for me right now.
And I think to say it and then to cultivate together, like, you know, I hope something impactful and valuable comes from curating these kind of conversations, and that it might be that we would say, like, I don't want anything to try to fill that. I want the joy itself of living in a way of being that is so deeply rooted in God, that there is gratitude and simplicity and graciousness and joy and contentment. And that's just you think about, give me this day, this bread. This is the day the Lord has made. This dollar, this work, this kiss, this music, this sound, this sunshine, this weather, like whatever this is, to be that present and to have nothing else but just gratitude and the ability to grasp this. Like you're saying, that's what we have. It's right here, right now. You have everything that God has given you in this moment, everything that God has given us to taste and see and experience and depend on Him. It's happening right now. And I don't know if you've ever had this experience where you're at a restaurant, you're eating something so good, and your brain starts thinking about when you'll be able to eat it again. I don't know if you've ever had that, where you're like, I don't know the next time or who else I can, and you're like, you're literally taken out of the moment thinking about the next time you can have that moment.
I got sad eating a burger in Chicago because I got halfway through the burger and I go, it's almost gone.
Yes, yeah. Like
That's like the French toast place when I was in Chicago that you recommended. I was literally eating that French toast and I was like, I'm upset because I'm never going to have this good of French toast ever again in my life.
Shout out Batter and Berries.
There
We love
you go. This day, this bread, this work. Like, think about if you went to work and you weren't thinking about your next job or your other opportunity or whatever. It was just like, I want to experience what it's like to be grateful to put my hands to this. And that's it. I don't want anything more. I don't want anything more. I think that's the judo of excess, of like, you can have it. I don't want it. I want this morning, this evening. And that's it.
That's tough, but powerful. Imagine to say that. Like,
that'd be wild.
Like, I don't care, like, all the things that I want and desire. Like, nope, I'm good with what I have, and I'm content and happy with that. The amount of joy I can just, like, imagine, like, that bringing, night and day difference, I feel like. But you have to make that change, and that's not easy.
Yeah.
It's like a FOMO thing. Do you guys think you deal with that? Like, because I feel like that's kind of the thing with excess. It's like you have a fear of not being able to experience the burger ever again, or not being able to go to that event because, what if I miss out on this opportunity? Like, it's that fear of I won't be able to do it. Do you guys deal with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think I struggle with like obviously comedy is something I'm really passionate about that I want like to make my career. And at times I'll start believing this lie, like, well, if I don't like become a touring comedian, like I'll never be content. Like I'll always be like mad about it and like frustrated that it didn't happen, which is just like not true. Like if life doesn't go that direction, if next year I decide not to do stand-up comedy anymore, it's like that is okay, and there'll be something else for me. That like God doesn't leave us discontent, and a comedy career will not bring me contentment. But like I'll for sure struggle with believing like if I don't have this or that, like I'll be discontent. But it's like none of those things will bring contentment. Like we're looking to the wrong things for that. And I think that's why I go excess in things, because it's like I want that to fulfill to a degree. And that's a little bit of what the Zinzoot tattoo is all about, is that I have this inconsolable longing, is what Zinzoot means. And it's like, I want to fill it. And I look to all these different things to try to fill it, but it won't. And if I can really believe that, then it's like I feel like I experience contentment. But it's so challenging because I can view, like I was messaging with a guy who has 40,000 followers and he's a stand-up comedian and he just released like a 10-minute special, and I'm like, man, if I was there, I'd be so happy. And like I'm messaging him and he's like, he doesn't think anything of it because it's like he's living that. Like he's not content where he's at. And I'm like, oh, dude, like I would kill to be like there. And it's just like, no, it's like we think these things will bring us contentment and they don't.
Is in Weight of Glory where Lewis is talking about that idea of Sehnsucht and that longing for the thing. And he's saying that he realized that it wasn't in the things, it only came through them. And he's like, it's the scent of a flower, it's the echo of a tune. And what he realized is that the things themselves will break your heart if you ask too much of them. Because the thing that you're longing for is not in them. It only comes through them. And so whether it's a comedy career or it's a job or it's a spouse or it's finance or whatever it is, the actual thing that you're longing for, that I'm longing for, it's not in those things. It only comes through them. And the minute we lay hold of the thing we think it was in, it'll break our heart. It becomes an idol that doesn't have the capacity to give us what we were asking of it. Right? So to stop doing that, I don't want to ask too much of the good things in my life, right? I'm not going to ask too much of the good things in my life. I'm going to let them be what they are and let what God's trying to give me through them be simply that. What a beautiful gift. But I think, again, to your point, we've beat up on technology quite a bit in these conversations, and I think it's not because it's bad. It's just because it's so prolific and it's so advanced that Amazon is predicting what you are going to need. And so you can have excessive supplements because they're already ordered for you. It's the algorithm is thinking, how many of those pills have you taken since the last time you ordered them? And it's a 30-count bottle. So the next one's already on the way. And you go, oh, I missed 2 days. So now I have a drawer full of supplements, right? We're just swimming in it. So I think to be marketed to be wooed, to be constantly enticed more now, exactly like you want it, we have to be wise to walk through a world like that. I mean, that's the landscape. So
yeah, that was really good. I feel like you can really apply that to so much, like universally. When you have something good and you ask too much of it, then
it'll break your
heart.
Yeah.
It's too true. Wow. Wise words, Zach.
Yeah, C.S. Lewis, it was not in them, it only came through them. So good.
Yeah, it's funny how it can happen in so many different things. Like, I got given like an Amazon gift card for like $200 from work. Super nice.
Great job.
Yeah, I know. That's nice. I like didn't know what to buy on Amazon. And I like wanted to buy something, which is like so funny that I like searched Amazon. I would Google like best things to buy off Amazon, men, Christmas gift. And like I couldn't find anything I wanted to buy, which is just like so funny that it was just like, I just want something. I want to buy something. I have this money. I want to buy something. And it's like, that's a very first world problem. But it's just funny that I wanted something to buy. But it's like I couldn't find anything to like fill it.
Yeah.
To like that scratched the itch that I wanted to scratch.
Reminds me of the Chuck E. Cheese, like at the end of the experience, like when you'd go and with all your points and you'd go to the wall and like you'd always want like the easy bake oven and too many points.
I'm shocked you know what Chuck E. Cheese is, to be honest.
I literally was born in the 2000s.
Chuck E. Cheese? Yeah.
Really?
We literally did that.
Very slim way.
You're not that much older.
Y'all still around too.
Y'all
around.
Y'all missed the heyday of it for sure.
No,
I was
didn't.
there. I was there with
Rick
Rubin and the Beastie Boys, and I were at Chuck E. Cheese at the original Pancake House.
Did y'all ever go to Bullwinkle? Do you know what Bullwinkle's is?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Y'all don't know what Bullwinkle's is.
Why are you trying to be like?
Why are you trying to be old?
Why are you trying to be
You're
old?
trying to
Flexing
age
on
out
y'all.
now. Yeah, age out.
Y'all don't know about that.
Hey,
it was better than Chuck E. Cheese.
maybe we leave it at this. More joy, right? More actual joy. More actual contentment and gratitude in our life. Like, I think if nothing else, let's just be aware that excess, we're swimming in it. We're swimming in a culture of excess. And the downside of it is that it's the thief of joy. It's just strip mining and pillaging all of that joy from the actual things that God has given us. And so to take a hard kind of posture against that and say, no, I want to actually enjoy the good things God has given me and not ask too much of them. I want to let that grace of God come through them and to turn my vision to Him in gratitude. And I want to then actually taste this burger and do this job and be grateful for this moment and live right there and try to let everything else go and not ask for more, ask for too much, or ask for it to be exactly like I imagined my life to be, but to just actually live this one with gratitude to God. Wouldn't that be great?
Amen.
It's good.
That was great.
Challenges to the wayfaring journey, right?
Yeah.
I think that's why you're not alone, right? We just keep walking through it and going, oh man, I was caught up in malaise. And then I came out of that malaise and excess was right there to try to woo me this way. But you start to become wise and you're able to navigate this stuff and go, nope, I know I've fixed my eyes on a different way of being. And that's why He's the author and perfecter of our faith. The vision is Jesus. I'm going to look right there and say, give me this day my daily bread. Because you have taught me the secret of being content with all things, whether I have everything or whether I have nothing. That's a way of being that there's a goodness and a joy there that's worth more than any amount of any goodness that we can try to accumulate.
Yeah, I think it's taking inventory of the things that you think will make you content, like actively like pointing those things out and just realizing they won't, I think is like a huge help in getting to the point of like, well, what will make me content? And then it's the source.
Yeah, I love it. There you go.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an episode.
What
Good
an
talk.
episode.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Feel free to leave a like, comment, DM us if you have any questions. We'd love to answer it.
Yeah, and if you're local, come out to Wayfarer Tampa, March 7th. We'll be talking about excess, hanging out, having some food, around a table, spending time together. Yeah.
A ton of food.
Yeah.
Woo.
Excessive
Yeah.
amounts of it.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Well, thanks so much for hanging out, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Peace.
Never alone.
Walk
Walk
on.
on.